This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. It's Wednesday, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. Happy Cinco de Mayo to everyone out there.
To the three people that are definitely not drinking today. A pregnant woman, a sober man.
And a happy girl.
Yes, there we go.
There
you got to do it for all of us.
I'm Tori. I'm here with Lindsay and Al, but let's get started. Should former President Donald Trump continue to be banned from Facebook and Instagram? Well, this morning, the oversight board at Facebook said yes. They ruled that Trump's ban from the platform was justified, although they did say the company should re-examine the penalty and make a final decision in 6 months because a complete ban was, quote, not appropriate. Now, if you recall, Facebook banned the former president after they say he used the site to help spark the insurrection at the Capitol, January 6th. We all remember that. Meantime, Mr. Trump has launched his own platform of sorts. It's a blog where he's able to post his comments and thoughts. So DBL Nation, we turn to you. We really want to know what you think. Should the former president continue to be banned from Facebook? Yes or no? Simple question, not so simple to think about. Go to dblvote.com to weigh in. Lindsay, Al, this is tricky. It's not as black and white as people may think. Linz, what's your first take on him being banned?
I think a lot of people want to know who those people are that are on the voting board, like who gets to say, okay, this is appropriate, this is not appropriate speech. I know some things were really clear, like people were saying that he cited insurrection, or other things on YouTube have incited violence in the past, and so that's why this was necessary. But we have to understand that if we're telling the millions of people that voted for President Trump and half of the country almost that you can't find him anywhere on social media, I think we're igniting a ton of people to find him wherever he's at, and his team has already said they're creating a social media platform. So it's not going to stop him from ever speaking. It's just going to make it more awkward for a 2020 campaign launch when he's like having to do traditional media interviews, which we know he hates, and having to write written statements, which nobody is really reading in 2021.
Right. So you think it could backfire?
Yeah, I think it could backfire and blow up and make his social media platform as raggedy as it could be, because a startup company with no startup team, people will go to Reddit to find information. So people will go to him and wherever he's at to find information.
Interesting.
Yeah,
what do you think,
Lindsay, I'm going to push back on you. For one, you're saying we need to know who these 8 people are. I'll tell you who they are. They're not the president. All right, the president has a bigger platform, and it's crazy how we give him this, like, when something's being taken away from him, he's one of us. What are our rights? But Lindsay, Tori, last I checked, if somebody that you loved committed a crime, could you pardon them? Do you get to fly on Air Force One? Do you get to have any of the perks of being president, of being the most powerful human being on the planet? No, but as soon as something goes wrong, it's like, hey, I'm every man. I'm just trying to log on to Facebook, dog. And it's like, you're not. You may have lost your privilege, and if you've been to a bar anywhere, you look in the corner, there's a list that says 86th. Those people have been kicked out of that bar for whatever reason, and we don't need to know who they were. They just can't be.
But he's not president anymore, so it's like, just like we saw, and I know Michelle Obama wasn't the president, but I can use her example because I went to her tour. She was very outspoken on this tour as opposed to when she was actually sitting next to President Obama in the office and by his side. So I think that he's not president anymore, so shouldn't he be able to say, be a civilian in society?
That's the tricky part that I'm dealing with, right? I think he insurrected violence, so I think there should be punishment. I also think when we start saying who can't speak with 8 people in the shadows, we're saying, well, what speech don't you like? Like, I understand inciting violence, but hate speech is hate speech to certain people and not to others. So, like, who is deciding this, and whose speech are we going with? It's a slippery slope that I'm a little uncomfortable with.
Have you heard of the Westboro Baptist Church?
I have.
That's their thing.
But they're allowed to protest still.
Yes, but the difference between them or somebody like Alex Jones is Alex Jones is then saying to the Sandy Hook victims that your kids were actors
and that's
never
illegal.
existed.
That's a defamation.
Those people were then harassed for 8 years. So, like, we kind of put everything in this basket, like, well, how come well, this is why. There's a reason. You can be a foul person and show up at a Marine's funeral and yell the horrible things. You can do that, but you just can't say go to Lindsay's house if you don't agree with her and fight like hell.
A lot of people are like alarmed because Facebook became this like authority figure on who can say what, when really it was a place where we can have community, uncomfortable conversations, good conversations, loving conversations. So even Jeff Zuckerberg, when he went, or Mark Zuckerberg, when he went in front of everybody, he was like, hey, I know we were a place that was part of this discourse that was supposed to be uncomfortable and all these things, but we have to start to be more responsible, which is why they put these 8 people in position.
Being more responsible also makes it more regulation, and I wonder what our followers think.
Everything you do, Tori, is involved with regulation.
And I'm saying speech is something that should be held apart from that. But I'm not sure where I stand, because I do. It's a tricky question. It's layered. A lot of people are writing, and Just Me says, regarding the Facebook ban, this isn't complicated. There's a big difference between supporting free speech and enabling lies that are deliberate and deceptive. Interesting. Well, our final vote is yes. 70% of you, strong majority, say yes, he should be banned from Facebook. 30% of you say no. Good talk, you guys.
Good talk.
Good talk. All right.
And good decision to take that beret out right before we went on it.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Show the people real quick.
I was going to wear this. Hold on.
I just said, do I hate it? I didn't hate it.
Is it too young?
It just looks like you're still in the makeup room.
Alrighty, take it off. Arash said in my ear, take it off. We've got an update to a story we've been following. A Florida mom and her teenage daughter. This is insane. They're accused of rigging her high school's homecoming election. They allegedly hacked into the computer system, casting hundreds of fraudulent votes for the girl so she could be homecoming queen. Well, now they're facing some serious jail time because the girl, who was 17 at the time, is now 18 and being charged as an adult. The charges could mean they both face a maximum of 16 years in jail. Is this fair? Lindsay?
I thought it was like very ridiculous. 16 years?
16 years seems
I don't think
ridiculous.
You should be hacking any type of high school anything.
Clearly
But I
wrong.
also think
Right.
it's like one of those things that's like, shame on you, you lost now, we're taking away your crown.
I mean, but you could
Like,
take a
I don't think it's like all
They
this.
broke into the system like Ocean's 11. Like, you can't do that.
I just didn't feel like it was that serious.
It's not that serious. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to. Why? It's like we're such boring individuals as human beings. We just like, you do something wrong, go to jail. Let's do like different kinds of punishments. Like I say, she has to go to homecoming every year for the rest of her life.
Oh wow!
How would that not? Would you rather?
And hand the trophy to someone else?
Just homecoming in
She's
2056.
55. Am I in? Did I make it?
Her keep running till she wins. Yeah.
You know, that's funny. Judges can get creative for some people. Like Michael Vick, when he had to do a tour of for ASPCA and learn about dogs and dog violence. I wonder if they could do that. 16 years seems.
But what is her mom teaching her though? I feel bad for like that whole situation. Like,
But even
let's
Aunt Becky
cheat
didn't
so
get-
you can win.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Aunt Becky didn't get 16
Lindsay,
years.
You're about to have a child, so I want to ask you this. You can't say that it's not incredible bonding because you telling me in 20 years they're not going to be at a bar like, remember when we tried to break
Okay,
in
but
our-
let me tell you,
That's a
that's
talking
why
point.
I know this is messed up, and I didn't even want to say this on air, but it slipped my mind like, what if my daughter wanted to win? Maybe I help her out. If my son wanted to win, maybe I help him out. Like, but it's not right.
No.
So I'm just like, you got to be a better parent than
Yeah,
that.
and I will say this. Someone at my school once put up a website that said something negative about our school. We had a website made, and the FBI ended up getting involved. You think it's kind of silly, but when you deal with computer and hacking and getting into the system, you've crossed some felony or felonious lines there that aren't so good.
Felonious.
Yeah.
I've never even heard that word. That's
about it.
amazing.
Felonious
Jazz
monk.
piano player.
Yeah, it's a good one. I love it. All right, before we go to break, we've got a good news story. I love these.
Yes.
Check out these former circus elephants who have found a new retirement home in Florida. The elephants are retirees from the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus, and their new habitat is in Florida's White Oak Conservation Center, where they can live out the rest of their lives. Able to roam free, they can enjoy a dip in the water rather than being forced to perform. I am so pleased.
Me too.
So loved.
Don't you say that they get lonely? Those elephants weren't even looking at each other.
No, but they're social. They know they're around each
They
other.
weren't social at all in any of those clips.
You don't really look at me when we're out.
I'm looking right at you.
All
You
right.
get to be freed. There's no loneliness in freedom.
There you go.
There was the one that was by itself, and you guys had to jam it around a bunch of friends. Maybe he was happy. Maybe
He
he's
wasn't.
like my dad.
He wasn't. Coming up on DBL, actor and comedian Patton Oswalt is telling us all about his new animated series, the latest in the ever-growing Marvel universe. And a major jewelry company is ditching natural diamonds for stones created in the lab. Would you wear man-made jewels, or do you prefer Mother Nature's creations? That's coming up next.
Closed captioning provided by
The world's biggest jeweler, Pandora, says it will no longer use mined diamonds, instead selling only lab-made sparklers. So why the change? Let's connect the dots. Diamonds may be a symbol of enduring love, but there is a lot of blood, sweat, and tears before they land in that velvet jewelry box. In Africa, where many of Earth's diamonds are mined, the gems have helped finance violent civil wars, fed corruption, and propped up brutal dictators. Miners on the continent are not just underpaid, they are also physically abused. Experts also estimate over 70 countries use child labor to get diamonds out of the ground. Then there is the environmental impact. While in some countries diamond mining is heavily regulated, there are just as many where it is not. This has led to deforestation, rivers being rerouted, and land stripped of its topsoil. For impoverished countries, this can be devastating to farmers who have depended on those resources for generations. So what's a lab-grown diamond? Let's just say these aren't rhinestones, they are the real thing. But instead of being drilled out of the ground, scientists grow them in a lab. They use carbon and subject it to high temperatures and pressure, mimicking the natural process. The resulting diamonds are identical to the ones found in the earth, plus lab-made diamonds are cheaper, meaning you can shine bright like Rihanna without spending like her.
Welcome back to DBL. Big shout out to our coworkers tuning in from home during the pandemic. What's going on? You see Jeff down there dancing?
Yeah.
What's up, Jeff? We love your little bald head. Hi there. All right. Well, the world's largest jewelry brand, Pandora, just made a very big announcement about a girl's best friend. The company will no longer sell mined diamonds. Instead, it will only sell lab-made ones, which you can see here, set in their earrings, bracelets, and rings. Now, the company says the lab-made diamonds are just as real, but only 1/3 the price and much more eco-friendly. So what do y'all think of these lab-made diamonds? Would you be able to tell the difference? What do we think here? Diamonds are a tricky issue for some. Are you like, I only want diamonds from the earth? Like, what do you like?
I think before you answer, can I ask two requests? Can you answer for yourself and then how you think a lot of your friends would feel? Because I'm curious.
Well, I think a lot of my friends would be like, they would put it in the fake diamond category. I'm not trying to be like that because and I appreciate sustainability and I love our earth and all this stuff, but I'm just like, but I did watch a documentary about how they actually raised the price of diamonds by like holding a certain amount, and it's all like manufactured, and that's why real or whatever diamonds that are mined are costing so much, so they're not even actually worth what they cost. But because I like crystals and things from the rocks and the earth, I'm like, man, just somebody made this in a lab, but it shouldn't be about the ring, right?
That's and it's the same molecular structure. Does that turn you guys
very
on?
Romantic.
I mean, do you care? I'm not married, so I guess I'll care when I find out.
I got an estate sale ring. I like reusing. I'm totally fine with the sustainability. I think a lot of Africans die in dealing with diamonds. I think it's a pretty bad blood sport for many, many people. I'm fine with it, but I do get that it's going to take a generation to hear lab made and think, ooh, that's fancy.
But I think a lot of these jewelry stores don't say, okay, we're going to go buy these blood diamonds.
Right.
I think that a lot of people have moved away from that. Some people still do, obviously, but like a lot of people are just selling diamonds that are not like sustainable for the earth. And those are the ones, people that are super eco-friendly are like, no, let's make them in a lab.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference than like, okay, yeah, I'm sporting this big blood diamond I got right on 54th Street.
Can we do this like don't ask, don't tell? Because if we're like, okay, me and Lindsay or me and Tori, we're about to start our life together. I want to get her a big ring, but I want to put a down payment down on a house. If I get you a ring and you don't know its origin story, like one of the X-Men, and we just show up and then I just have money for a down payment, you
doesn't
might
make that much of a difference.
Okay, but do you like what's? I don't know what that's like. So you have the ring on. Do you ever go like get appraised, or do you ever do you ever trade? I know Wendy Williams famously trades her ring in after every well, not anymore. After every couple of years, like I know a story of a woman who got her ring appraised and found out that it was cubic zirconia, and that's not, to me, that wasn't right. No, that wasn't a clear conversation.
There's a kid that goes around the mall with a diamond tester. He has like 8 million followers.
I think I saw him.
He tests your diamonds
right there in the mall, like your earrings, because you know it'd be kids.
Yeah, and it beeps or doesn't beep, and he's like, they're not real.
He walks away.
Yeah, just walks
goes
away,
to the food court. Some Sbarro pizza and fake diamonds. We'll be right back. Remember that?
Yeah.
Love Sbarro pizza.
Nearly 110 million.
You know how kids don't play outside as much as they used to? Well, now experts say that trend has an unusual side effect. children's eyesight is getting worse. Let's connect the dots. Nearsightedness is on the rise in kids, also known as myopia. That's when you can see close objects clearly, but things that are far away are fuzzy. It can be caused by genetics and the environment, but experts say myopia has increased so rapidly that it can't be blamed on genetics. In the United States alone, it's gone from 25% of the population in the 70s to 42%. In Southeast and East Asia, it's estimated 80 to 90% of high schoolers are nearsighted. So what's causing this increase? It might seem easy to blame all that screen time kids have these days, but experts say that is not the direct reason. It's actually because children are getting less natural light. Researchers say exposure to daylight and focusing on things far away outside can delay the onset of myopia, and the pandemic has made things worse. New research shows the eyesight of children quarantined during the onset of coronavirus deteriorated rapidly. There is something you can do about it. Experts say it's not practical to take away screens altogether, but you can impose some rules. They recommend a practice called 20-20-20. That's when you take regular breaks every 20 minutes to look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. And of course, more time outside could make a real difference.
Welcome back to DBL. If you're looking for something new to binge, check out Marvel's MODOK on Hulu. It's all about a supervillain facing his biggest challenge yet, a midlife crisis. Earlier, we caught up with the show's creator, Patton Oswalt, in today's Chatting with the Stars.
Patton Oswalt created the show and stars in it. He joins us live. Hey,
guys.
How are you?
I am really, really good. How are you guys?
We're doing wonderful. We're so glad that you could join us. Now, before we get to MODOK, we want to get your take on vaccines. Why do you think more Americans aren't getting their shots?
Because of all of the insane misinformation out there and all of the, I don't know. There's just, I didn't realize there was this big of a population that doubted vaccines. I mean, when the polio vaccine came out in 1955, we were still 2 years away from satellites, and everyone just lined up to get it. Yep. Now we're like, we've got world brains in our pockets, and there's satellites all over the planet, and there's robots on Mars, and people are like, that vaccine's got wizard poison in it.
I was hoping
how we went backward that way.
Right. Yeah. I was hoping he'd do the rah, 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 rah. That voice is my favorite. Patton, I'm a huge fan. I also follow your Instagram, and I wanted to say hi to Alice, your daughter, who I think is just wonderful and marvelous, and she's growing up to be so lovely. I wanted to ask you, as a comic, has it been harder or easier to joke now that the world's sort of fallen apart?
It was way harder to joke when it was falling apart. There's a like, wow, when things were awful in the 80s, think of how good punk rock was. It's like, well, first off, I'll give back, never mind the Sex Pistols if, the air isn't on fire. Like, it's not worth that trade-off to have the world burned down to get a couple of good albums out of that. And also, the really good punk rock came out during Carter, and then the grunge movement started right when we got rid of, or really flourished right when we got rid of Bush. So I just think that's a myth of like bad times creates great art. It's like, how about we can have both. You can have good times and great art at the same time. I don't know why we fetishize that.
Now, it's been 5 years since your late wife, Michelle McNamara, passed away. So we're looking at your Instagram tribute right now. What advice do you think that she would give you to deal with this crazy year 2020?
She would... I think she'd be laughing at a lot of the craziness that's going on the way that I am trying to, but she would also go check in on your family, check in on your friends. Yeah. The more, if your impulse is to check on other people, that spreads and we all kind of get lifted up. I think that would have been her impulse during all this. It's not, don't hunker down. Check in on everybody.
That's beautifully said. Let's jump into your new project. Tell us everything about Marvel's MODOK. If you can use some more punk rock analogies.
She's a punk rocker.
From a previous punk rock girl.
Well, if I could cite the band Wire and their album Pink Flags. Now, that came... No, basically, MODOK is a villain who is just as jealous and angry at the other villains in the Marvel Universe as he is the heroes, because he is this 8th-dimensional brain, superior intellect, somehow on the D-level bottom tier of the villain. So he's struggling with a midlife crisis in terms of being a villain, and then also because of his hubris and his ego, he's like, not only can I rule the world as Emperor MODOK, I can also have a loving family in the suburbs who supports and worships me, both of which are completely falling apart because he is such a damaged ego and so crippled emotionally, and it's now all the birds are coming home to roost, so he's having to deal with both of these collapses at the same time, and it's really, really fun to write and really fun to perform.
So now I need to know what drew you to the role of a self-absorbed supervillain. I mean, he's going through a midlife crisis. Have you ever experienced anything like this? What is the connection?
I mean, look, I'm in show business. I've experienced pettiness and competition on my part. I've experienced envy and why is that person there and I'm here? Like, I think everyone, not just in entertainment, but in all walks of life have experienced that. And I'm like, what if we crank this up to Marvel Jack Kirby levels and really make it cosmic? So that's what I think made it really fun. At least that's how I related to it.
Any real life people that you based your supervillain on?
Uh-oh.
I'm not gonna say.
Come on,
Yeah, there were a couple of people that we maybe used as signposts, maybe
Motivation.
Inspiration.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Tori?
I just wanted to say, is Alice going to be watching it? What is the audience? Is it for adults as well? Because it sounds like something I'm kind of struggling through a quarter midlife somewhat crisis. I would enjoy it. Would young kids too as well? I just want to know the audience.
Oh yeah, no, I think young kids, and especially this will be like when you watch like a Pixar movie, or even like our daughter loves Stranger Things and WandaVision.
Oh yeah,
that
so good.
That she loves, and there's stuff as us adults going, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. So it works on both levels.
I love it. You are a true gem. Thank you so much for chatting with us, Patton. And don't forget to stream Patton's latest series, Marvel's MODOK, on Hulu, May 21st. Thank you. We'll be right back.
Am I good businessman? Yeah, about that. We're back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
The world watched Derek Chauvin's trial unfold live. It was the first televised trial in Minnesota's history. Now, attention turns to the other former officers charged in George Floyd's murder. So let's verify. Will the trial of Tou Thao, Thomas Lane, and J. Alexander King be broadcast live? Our sources, court documents, and a spokesperson for Hennepin County District Court. Thao, Lane, and King are set to stand trial together in August, charged with aiding and abetting second-degree murder and aiding and abetting second-degree manslaughter. We now know their trial will be televised, and here's why. Back in November, when the three were set to be tried with Chauvin, the judge ordered that the group's trial could be live-streamed. Court documents show all four former officers supported that. The prosecution did not. But the judge decided a live stream would let the public see that the defendants are fairly dealt with and not unjustly condemned. Even though the judge later separated Chauvin's trial, a spokesperson for Hennepin County District Court tells me that order from the judge still applies to Thao, Lane, and King's trial. And they say the rules are the same as Chauvin's trial. The audio will be muted for off-record sidebars, the jury will remain anonymous, and underage witnesses, as well as George Floyd's family, will be kept off camera. Around a dozen media outlets have already asked the court for permission to broadcast the trial live. So we can verify, yes, the trial for Tou Thao, Thomas Lane, and J. Alexander King will be broadcast live, just like Derek Chauvin's. With your Verify, I'm Gabe Cohen.
Welcome back to DBL. It's time for Security Alert, sponsored by LifeLock. Americans will spend almost $30 billion for Mother's Day, and scammers are taking full advantage. So be aware of online shopping scams targeting Mother's Day sales. The scams vary, but the most common ones involve pop-up ads where an item is priced hundreds of dollars less than you saw on the site. That is a red flag, people. Here's another tip. Always look for the S in the HTTPS part of the website.
I would have fallen for that.
I would too. The S actually stands for secure, and you can trust that site. Now, when it comes to your financial assets, LifeLock is here to help. LifeLock keeps you and your digital identity secure from cyber criminals. Call 1-800-439-9017 or visit lifelock.com to learn more. We got some great comments in about
our
Facebook.
co-host Sam just wandering around our studio.
Sam's just like in the desert,
child that's lost at the
wandering
circus. I don't know what she's doing.
around.
I was trying to figure that out.
Just wandering.
We love you, Sam. Becky says this on Facebook. I wanted to get this out. Yes, Trump should be banned. He should be banned from all social media. And someone said Trump can rig an election and he gets away scot-free. And a girl tries to rig a homecoming and she gets 16 years. But some people say this is straight up censorship. Interesting.
Juicy.
We're new every day. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Bye, guys.